My name is Sudha Raj. I am a teaching professor and director of the graduate program in the Department of Nutrition and Food Studies at the Falk College. I am also a classical South Indian dancer by training, and I teach and I have taught in the Syracuse area since 1982 to a very small group of students. So I'm excited to be here.
And Maya?
I'm Maya Kulkarni, and I'm here for three events: a performance on Tuesday and two workshops. My career also straddles two parts of academics as well as dance and performance. I taught political science, particularly foreign policy and international relations, for over 30 years. Just retired this year, and but I have been performing. I've been a performer both here and in India. And well, in the last 15 years, I've started choreographing my own dance pieces, and I've evolved a new vocabulary of dance called Shilpanatanam, in which I choreograph the pieces. Dancing was not in the family at all. They were all in politics, and the part of the national movement. Both my parents and but so there is largely it's a politically immersed family, but very deeply into music. And I inherited that love for music from my parents, and something else that I think propelled me into it is that my father was a Sanskrit scholar, so I learnt a lot of original text, could read them, and I learned the language. So I was able to then read in the original language, Sanskrit texts that are kind of like a Bible for us, for the dancers.
Yeah.
So that was one area, and then I think I had a natural aptitude for dance. So they decided to put me in dance, and that's how I started. I was only, I think, 7 when I started. Yeah. And I did what they call graduation, in dance, Arangetam. That I did at the age of, I think, 14.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Have been dancing and studying, and life goes on like that. But in the later part, I was appointed or designated state artist. That means a junior state artist. I was very young, but they used to send me off in the state of Maharashtra to propagate classical dance and music. They had other artists as well. So there was a slate of artists. So I used to perform a lot, and then came away here, and I never left it because I had arrived at that point. I was at that point in my dance life where it had now become a focus of my being, let's say, right? So I could never leave it. So it was a difficult time dividing between scholarship and teaching and dance, but somehow I managed it. And we are here now.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
My mother is a musician, trained in both vocal music as well as playing the veena, and so she inspired me to learn dance. I was not really, I can sing, but not, I wasn't trained, and so I learned, and footwork was really very important and good. I had a good sense of beat, so my mother said, I think you should do dance. But my father was in a career where, we would move every couple of years. So my earlier years, there were lots of different teachers, so I got exposure to different schools of Bharatanatyam. But my mother's, being a musician, she kept up the practice. So when we got to Chennai, which is like the hub of Carnatic music and dance, I was able to join one of the Kalakshetra schools of dance, and my guru, my teacher of that time, when I joined, I was about 15, and from then on till he passed away in 2014, he has been and will continue to be my guru. So every year I went back to India, I got a little bit of training from him, and when he would come here, he started doing workshops, and so I would go there. When I came to Syracuse in 81, I really had no plans of teaching dance, but I met a group of Bengali young ladies who were all very artistically oriented and said, oh my God, you know this dance, you have to teach it here, at least to our children. So it started out as just a fun activity, and I have kept it at that because I just did not want a big school and trying to manage that, because that was not the point of my dance. So I taught it. I have taught about 50 girls, and fortunately many of them have completed their arangetrams, and in the process my own daughter also learned.
Yes, actually, I've taught political science, mostly comparative politics and international relations. Much of my research and writing is also in the books and articles I've written are all in this area. I'm a member of the Council on Foreign Relations, and I've been on their task forces for South Asia. I've also done a lot of work with the think tanks in Washington DC, largely having to do with South Asia, India, and its relationship with China and how it is situated in East Asia with regards to East Asia and the Indian Sea, so there is a lot of political kind of implications on that. So as usually what academics do, going to conferences, writing books, writing papers and teaching, but my stress has been more on scholarship and writing rather than teaching. Similarly in dance, I never taught dance because for me, if I taught dance, then somehow I could not be a good performer. For me to maintain the freshness of performing, I could not do it every day. I could not teach the kind of thing that you have to repeat yourself over and over again. So from the beginning, I decided that I will not teach dance. I'll only perform, or I'll create dance, or I'll write about it. One of the three things. So those are the things that I have done.
Okay.
Relationship between politics and dance is there is a lot of politics in dance, but
Well, I am looking at it from a nutrition perspective. So I chose nutrition because I'm very passionate about nutrition, and I look at dance as not just an activity, physical activity, but it is also an activity that trains and feeds your mind and your spirit. So I look at it very holistically, and for me, this has been it started out as a physical activity, and it continues to be a physical activity. And no matter what other type of physical activity I choose, it never has the same kind of impact that dance does. So dance has been a great stress buster for me. And when I started teaching, I definitely had to do some choreography. Not to the level at what Mayaji does, but simple choreography. But for simple choreography, you have to learn the mythology. You have to do that. All that takes time and effort and support. So my husband has been a great supporter because he will bring in a lot of the literature. He will read it at times when I don't have time to do that. And then he will say, okay, here are some of the pieces that, probably you need to focus on. So that has been good. I am a teaching professor. I have a very heavy teaching load. So right from the get-go, I decided that I would not make dance a profession. I would just dance for the sake of dance. So I think that helped keep that work-life, the work balance. And but it takes a lot of time. So when I'm training students for a performance, it could be a 10-20 minute performance, but it takes a lot of time. You prepare them for an arangetram, it takes a lot of time. So I have to learn to balance, and there are some days when I'm like, I don't have anything to do today. So but I need to be active, and I love to see programs. So when I go to India, I'm always looking out to see what is there available so that I can just for my own sake. I love to read about dance. I will love to watch if I need to. And there's so many new things that people are doing. So it's kind of interesting. So I've kept it at a very low key, but I wish I had another lifetime to just devote to dance. I really wish. So